For the past 4 decades, the Star Wars movie saga has been luring viewers into the world of a faraway galaxy. Several generations have grown up on the films of the franchise, and the lives of the actors who gave us our favorite characters have changed with them. It seems that after they gained worldwide fame, the further career of the main actors is already predetermined, and they will all be in great demand. But not everything turned out to be as rosy as we would like. Today on the Biographer Express channel, we will tell you about the career of the father and son Skywalkers, Hayden Christensen and Mark Hamill. Which of their projects have failed, and which ones are worth watching? You'll find out right now. Mark Hamill was engaged in episodic passing roles before his star role. Also, he tried himself in voice acting. But His Majesty the Case, as it often happens, brought Mark to audition to George Lucas. Or rather, it was his friend who was auditioning in a nearby studio after looking at the contenders for the role of Luke Skywalker, decided that Mark should come to the audition. Considering at that time celebrities did not aspire to work with Lucas and he had to interest actors in something, he paid more than it was supposed to unknown artists. So, the star trio received $1,000 a week. After being released in the summer of 1977, Star Wars Episode IV: A New Hope broke all box office records. The film earned $215 million in the United States with a budget of $11 million. People lined up in huge queues in cinemas to watch this amazing blockbuster. After such a mind-blowing success, George Lucas paid generous bonuses to his actors. It wasn't tens, but several $100,000. But even with his initial, not-too-large fee, Mark Hamill was able to purchase a luxury car, and immediately crashed it.
That's impossible!
In January 1977, the actor, on his way to shoot in Death Valley, fell asleep at the wheel. The car left the road and rolled over several times. Mark survived, but his face was significantly damaged, so he had to go through a plastic surgery. Sometimes, Hamill's failures in his careers are attributed to his changed face. However, the actor himself explained that he wanted to distance himself as much as possible from his Jedi character who gave him fame. As a result, he tried himself in various genres. For example, in the Robbins adventure film Corvette Summer, and in the military movie The Big Red One by Samuel Fuller, where Mark played a role of a novice sniper. The viewer did not particularly appreciate these films, which affected the box office. Hamill was helped by the same Star Wars and the role of Luke Skywalker to stay afloat and continue to bask in glory. It was that character from whose image he tried to dissociate himself, but it did not work out. They say that on the set of Star Wars Episode V: The Empire Strikes Back, Lucas had to deliberately introduce a collision scene of Luke with a wampa that scratched his face to explain the actor's changed appearance after the operation. But Lucas himself claimed that such an extreme was originally planned for the character in order to increase the dynamics of the plot in the first scenes of the film, and Hamill's accident had nothing to do with it at all. Whatever it was, the viewer had no idea about anything at all, and the changed appearance of the hero was attributed to age. Compared to Star Wars Episode IV: A New Hope, Star Wars Episode V: The Empire Strikes Back failed a little in fees. With a budget of $18 million, $400 million was collected at the global box office. But such a box office was still considered successful, which allowed Hamill to choose roles and not agree to anything. So, he starred in the light comedy The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia. The film was warmly received by the audience, and with a budget of $7 million, it collected $14 million at the box office. To get a new portion of fan love and significantly replenish the bank account, the actor was again helped by the Episode VI: Return of the Jedi, released in 1983. Some scenes of the film were reshot, and it's not that someone didn't like the scenes, but rather Lucas's perfectionism.
You're gonna die here, you know. Convenient.
Just stick close to Chewie and Lando. I'm taking care of everything.
Oh, great.
However, all this exhausted Hamill quite a lot, and he returned to the theatrical stage, believing that playing live is a much more grateful thing than playing on camera. So, he got a lead role on Broadway in the play Amadeus, which was a huge success. But when the film adaptation by director Milos Forman followed, Hamill was denied the role, as the studio felt that Mark was too associated with the role of a Jedi with the audience. It's a pity, because the film collected 8 Oscars, 32 other film awards, and $100 million box office with a budget of $18 million. After such a failure, the actor focused on roles in theatrical production. In the mid-80s, Mark Hamill starred mainly in TV series, in the fantastic Amazing Stories by Steven Spielberg, in the thriller Alfred Hitchcock Presents. It can't be said that the roles in such projects raised our hero high, but they allowed him not to slip into obscurity. In 1989, producer Gary Kurtz, with whom Mark was familiar from Star Wars, invited the actor to play a role in the fantastic film Slipstream. Alas, the creators did not manage the budget of $10 million very skillfully, and the picture did not receive positive review from the viewer. Both in English and in the Australian box office, it failed, and it did not reach the US at all. Gary Kurtz suffered the most. He went bankrupt, having invested a decent amount of greenbacks out of his own pocket in this film. The failures did not end there. Then, Hamill got a role in a French war film which did not even reach the rental. The thriller Midnight Ride also went in the same direction, but at least they were able to release it on videotape. The role of a CIA agent in the American sci-fi thriller Guyver, based on the manga of the same name by Yoshiki Takaya, helped Hamill to take a little break from failures. Despite the fact that producer and screenwriter Brian Yuzna, well known for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and Warlock, joined the project, a solid movie did not come out of Guyver, although the potential of the manga allowed it. Perhaps this was prevented by the fact that the movie was shot in the style of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which had a teenage rating. The budget was $3 million, and such money was too little to shoot something significant. Advertising based on the participation of Hamill, known to the viewer, did not help either. The movie was filmed and released on video cassettes. Suddenly, the viewer liked the movie on the video, which influenced the studio's decision to shoot a sequel. In general, the 90s for Mark passed in supporting roles in films that went on videotapes and slipped into obscurity. Little by little, Hamill's career began to go uphill in the mid-2010s. He began to appear on the screens in such famous TV series as Chuck and Criminal Minds, and films such as Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Kingsman: The Secret Service, and The Flash. When the good old Star Wars returned to the screens, which had been helping out the actor all his life, at the age of 70, he raked in $1.5 million for a minute role on the screen. Hamill then appeared in 2 sequels where he reunited with his on-screen sister Leia. We must say that with all the changes in his acting career, Hamill did not change his favorite thing: voice acting. His magnificent voice was heard in such animated series as Batman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, SpongeBob SquarePants, Tom and Jerry, Family Guy, Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders, Spider-Man, Samurai Jack, Justice League, Invincible, and many others. The voice of the Joker is generally considered by fans to be a great classic.
Oh, Lexi, I'm hurt. How could you have this little party without inviting me?
So, Mark Hamill is also in sight, at the hearing and happy with life in his advanced years. In 2022, Mark Hamill helped raise money for 500 drones for Ukraine, which are defending it from Russian military aggression. No longer a screen hero, a Jedi fighting for independence in the galaxy, but a very real actor, is helping Ukraine defend its right to a free life in the fight against terrorist Russia. Not only the fans of Star Wars, but all Ukrainians are grateful to the legendary actor for his help in this battle with evil. Before moving on to our next hero, we suggest you click on the subscription button and the bell so you'll get access to little-known facts about your favorite celebrities. Subscribe, and we'll start. The second Skywalker, who took the lightsaber from the older generation, Hayden Christensen, experienced both ups and downs in the profession. Christensen's career began at the age of 12, with minor roles in television projects. From 1995 to 2000, Hayden starred in many full-length and television films, such as the dystopia Harrison Bergeron, the fantasy thriller Forever Night, the TV series Goosebumps, Sofia Coppola's debut work, The Virgin Suicides, Matt Hale's detective horror Are You Afraid of the Dark, as well as Alan Simmons' drama series Higher Ground. In 2001, Hayden lost 24 pounds for the role of a teenager in Life as a House, which allowed him to look 5 years younger. Such efforts were not in vain for him. The picture received excellent reviews from critics and brought the 20-year-old actor a nomination for the Actors Guild Award and the Golden Globe, as well as a review as a promising young actor. So Lucas, after watching 1,500 candidates for the role of Skywalker, did not accidentally choose neither too famous guy nor a newcomer. In addition, he explained that he noticed in Christensen the necessary rigidity for the subsequent transformation of a Jedi into Darth Vader. In 2002, Star Wars Episode II Attack of the Clones was released, and the actor who played such a high-profile role, as it often happens, received a huge number of the most controversial reviews. So, he was nominated for the Saturn Award as the Best Young Actor, and at the same time, for the Golden Raspberry for the Worst Male Role. Not only was he criticized, but also Natalie Portman, who had a more significant collection of roles. However, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, was a huge success, albeit a little less than Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, grossing about $700 million at the box office. Between the second and third episodes of Star Wars, Christensen managed to star in the film Shattered Glass, based on real events. For this role, he received positive reviews from critics and viewers, and a nomination for the Satellite Award. Meanwhile, the third part of the Star Wars saga, Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, released in 2005, received more positive reviews than its predecessors and earned $850 million worldwide with a budget of $110 million. The actor, again, stumbled upon absolutely different reviews about his acting.
I have brought peace, freedom, justice, and security to my new empire.
Your new empire?
Don't make me kill you.
As a result, he received the award Best Villain at the MTV Movie Awards and the Anti-Award Golden Raspberry as the Worst Supporting Actor. And how do you think he coped with his role? Share your opinion in the comments. Despite such passions, Christensen gained worldwide fame, excellent fees, and offers from studios. So, he got the role in the biographical drama Factory Girl. Unlike the previous biography, the viewer did not show much interest in the picture, and it failed at the box office. The situation with the thriller Awake was a little better. The audience score was 7 out of 10. Therefore, with a budget of $8 million, the film still collected $32 million at the global box office. However, this time the critics did not like the on-screen couple of Christensen and Jessica Alba, for which they received the Golden Raspberry. This was followed by a role in 2006, Dino De Laurentiis' comedy film Decameron, Angels and Virgins, which turned out to be the last project of the eminent producer. The film failed miserably at the box office, as with a budget of $38 million, it collected only $5 million. After all sorts of troubles, a fantastic action movie, Jumper, was released on the screens in 2008. At first, the studio planned to shoot the film starring rapper Eminem. However, director Doug Liman insisted on the candidacy of another star, Hayden. The mess began after a month of filming, when it turned out that there was no chemistry between him and Christensen's on-screen girlfriend, actress Teresa Palmer. She was replaced by the real beloved of the star, Rachel Bilson. In addition, the entire shooting period was marked by injuries and even one fatal accident. As a result, the film was still thoroughly reshot after being shown to the test group. They changed both the beginning and the end and expanded the roles of some heroes. The budget, of course, soared by $1.5 million, amounting to $85 million. Having gone through all these thorns, the film was not highly appreciated by critics, who gave it an average of 4 out of 10 points, and the audience, who gave it about 6 points. But the film did not fail at the box office, collecting $223 million. At first, a sequel was even planned, but it was soon canceled because of the mixed audience's reviews of the first part. A year later, Christensen appeared in one of the 11 short stories of Movie Almanac, New York, I Love You. The film could not even come close to the glory of its prototype, Paris, I Love You. In 2010, the action movie Takers with Christensen in one of the main roles was released. In this movie, you will find a daring bank robbery by professional thieves, a couple of brilliant detectives, a chase, a shootout. In general, everything is as it should be in an action movie. But because of the cliched script and two-dimensional characters, the film didn't receive very high reviews from critics. Nevertheless, at the box office, Takers collected $69 million. Moreover, the film received the first $20 million in the first week of the screening. It isn't too bad indicators for such a rating, with $32 million spent on its creation. In the same year, Christensen appeared in the not very successful film Vanishing on 7th Street, shown only in 6 cinemas in the United States, as it quickly became clear that the film was a fiasco. The film received $1 million with a budget of $10 million. Apparently, such frequent failures in his career slightly stalled Christensen, and he retired from acting, disappearing from the screens for 4 years. Maybe he needed time to rethink everything, lie low, and gather his strength. Whatever it was, but in 2014, Hayden returned and fell into the same trap. Either he doesn't have a gut, or his obsession only with fantasy adventure genres brings Christensen back into the chase, sabers and robes, and he got a role in the action movie Outcast. And it would be fine if the script was good. But Hollywood fiction about Chinese history, and with it the absolutely not deep, flat image of Hayden's hero, leads to what it should have led to collapse. With a budget of $25 million, the picture collected $5 million, and the audience verdict was 4 out of 10. After such an ambiguous return, Christensen is already being carried by no other than centrifugal force into another third-rate action movie, American Heist. Critics note that the template scenario and a meager number of action in the genre of the film about robbery, where its absence certainly led to a failure at the box office. The $10 million budget was slightly covered by $2 million. And what about Christensen? Did he draw conclusions, thought a lot, carefully choose the following picture? He did neither the first nor the second, and not the third. Apparently, the actor was really hungry and impoverished and became indiscriminate in the choice of movies. If he took part in the same failure as the previous film, the action movie First Kill, apparently the directors felt that after they got Bruce Willis into the picture, their work was over. But as you know, no star saves what was obviously done quick and dirty. So our Jedi messed up as the movie itself. In 2018, according to tradition, Christensen got the role in almost the worst film of the year, the comedy Little Italy, and in the same year he acted in the dramatic thriller The Last Man. Apparently, by this time, Christensen had already completely given up on career rehabilitation and starred in everything where he was called. But despite these failures, Christensen was regularly remembered thanks to the inexhaustible projects created by Star Wars. This still allows the actor to stay afloat and pull him out of obscurity mire every time. In particular, in 2022, the miniseries Obi-Wan Kenobi was released after several years of rewriting the script. In the beginning, a full-length spin-off was planned, but after the failure of Solo, a Star Wars story, the script was transformed into a series of 6 episodes. At the end of 2019, director Deborah Chow personally met with Hayden Christensen to discuss the idea of the project. Subsequently, the performer of the role of Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor, said that reuniting with Christensen in the series was the most beautiful thing of all, and Lucasfilm's president Kathleen Kennedy called it the rematch of the century. Christensen was attracted by the opportunity to play the role of Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker. He discussed with Chow the idea of how to simultaneously show the power of Vader and his lack of freedom.
A Jedi's goal is to defend life, not take it.
Mercy doesn't defeat an enemy, Master.
Kennedy noted that the cast and crew greatly enjoyed during the production. According to Whip Media, Obi-Wan Kenobi was the most anticipated new TV series of May 2022. The show received fairly positive reviews, although some still criticized it for the slow development of the plot. On the review aggregation website Rotten Tomatoes, the series has an 83% rating, with an average score of 6.6 out of 10. Well, Christensen also got his piece of fame after many years of vegetating in low-profile projects. Let's hope that appearing in such a high-profile project will help Hayden get offers of good roles in high-quality films. After all, he is a talented actor who just often has bad luck with movies, and the audience will probably want to see him in something interesting. Despite the fact that initially the prequels of Star Wars received mixed reviews from fans, over time the attitude towards them has changed for the better. And by the time the miniseries was released, viewers were eagerly waiting for Hayden's appearance on the screens. In our other video, we tell why the first 3 episodes of Star Wars initially were hated, and why they're actually not so bad. Why did George Lucas make some of the dialogues in the prequels so pretentious and maudlin? What directing techniques did he use? Click on the icon that appears on your screen and watch. And that's it for now. Biographer Express is with you.
May the Force be with you. Goodbye, old friend. May the Force be with you.